now. Govin, good morning to you. So, exactly what are some of the reasons being advanced for why Nomgcobo, Jiba and Lawrence Mrwebi are not fit to hold office at their respective positions in the NPA?
Well, the findings are based on, obviously, the evidence heard at the Mokgoro inquiry, but they're fundamentally based on those two controversial decisions by Nomgcobo Jiba to prosecute Johan Boysen on charges of racketeering and Lawrence Mrwebi's decision to withdraw charges of corruption against former crime intelligence boss Richard Mdluli. And there are some scathing findings by Justice Yvonne Mokgoro in this report, which has been leaked. Among them, we find that she finds that they were acted dishonestly and lacked the integrity, and also that Nomgcobo Jiba compromised the independence of the NPA when she decided to prosecute Johan Boysen. She also says that Nomgcobo Jiba, when she went to court and said under oath that she had considered signed statements that implicated Boysen, of course that was proven later to be a lie, that she displayed irreverence for the courts and disregarded the court processes. With regards to Mrwebi, she hasn't had much good to say about him either, because she's saying that when handling the Richard Mdluli case, first of all, he was out of line when he accepted representations before being formally appointed as the Special Director of Public Prosecutions. But then when he took the decision to withdraw the corruption charges against Richard Mdluli, he did not act in accordance with the NPA Act. So there's a range of different findings here where she goes into detail about their conduct. The bottom line is that Justice Yvonne Mokgoro believes that the pair are not fit to hold office.
Govin, have you had any reaction from these two individuals, whether it be themselves directly or the legal representatives?
We're in a tricky space at the moment because the report hasn't been formally released. Remember that it was handed over to President Cyril Ramaphosa by Justice Yvonne Mokgoro, and the President then asked for representations once more from Nomgcobo Jiba and Lawrence Mrwebi. So those representations have now been handed in, but the decision has still not been made. Nevertheless, we did manage to speak to the attorney for Nomgcobo Jiba, Zolo Majavu. He's confirming that they submitted the representations and refusing to enter the fray into on the findings. It's a tricky space for him as well, because he can't really comment until the president makes a decision, because the president...
Are there intimations that they might go to court?
We don't know yet, because we don't know what the president's decision will be about their representations. It's tricky because not only did Zolo Majavu's team and Lawrence Mrwebi's team cross-examine all of the witnesses that were brought by the evidence leaders, but after the report was submitted, after the report was submitted by the evidence leaders to Justice Yvonne Mokgoro, they submitted another note in response to the evidence leaders. And now that the report was submitted to the president, they've submitted more representations to the president. That was essentially their last chance to try and convince President Cyril Ramaphosa otherwise. But of course, there were at least 10 witnesses at the Mokgoro inquiry, 22 affidavits, and this report is 140 pages long and goes into some detail into why Justice Yvonne Mokgoro believes that the pair are unfit. One doesn't see how they would be able to persuade the president that the pair should stay in office after such a damning report.
Govin, just very quickly, two brief questions from me. There does appear to be a deadline that perhaps is given to the president for when he is to act against these two. But also importantly, people are asking themselves out there, if they're not fit to hold the positions that they hold at the NPA, are they fit to still practice as advocates? Because that's another element. Does the report deal with that?
Well, the report doesn't deal with that. It makes it clear that to be fit to hold the position of an advocate, and the test for that is quite different for the test to hold the position in the NPA. And it says that in the inquiry this has been established. So remember that while the president has a deadline to act on the Mokgoro report, we are also awaiting judgment in the Constitutional Court, where the General Counsel of the Bar has asked for an appeal of the Supreme Court of Appeals decision reinstating Nomgcobo Jiba and Lawrence Mrwebi on the role of advocates. So while this is a devastating blow, there could be more coming in the Constitutional Court if that appeal is granted to the General Counsel of the Bar.
Govin Whittles, thank you very much giving us an update on the leaked report of the Mokgoro inquiry that was testing the fitness to hold office of Nomgcobo Jiba and advocate Lawrence Mrwebi. Well,